Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of the Arden University podcast. My name is Alexis, and as per usual, I'm joined by the wonderful Alicia. Hello, Alicia. How are you doing?
Hello, and Happy New Year. It has been a lovely 2022 so far. I hope it's been the same for you.
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, obviously, if we're recording together, then things must have gone pretty well.
Something's gone right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so true. Phew. No one's had to leave for any random reason.
Exactly. Well, I guess we'll just sort of get stuck in. So we are, obviously this is the first episode of 2022, and we're going to kick things off by introducing our brand new campaign here at Arden University, which is called Born for This. You may not have seen our latest TV ad. In fact, there was an Instagram ad that went out recently as well. And our Born for This ads features our real students and their study focuses with us. And the very first student from that ad to join us today is the incredible Olympic silver medalist, proudly Sinden. Hi.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Go on.
Yeah, we appreciate you taking time out of your crazy schedule to come and join us on the podcast.
No problem.
You're not flying off to Korea, you're flying off to, is it Mexico for a training camp soon? Is that right?
Well, hopefully, yeah. So I think it's the end of next week. So I think Croatia and Germany are coming over from Monday. So having a training camp in Manchester and then flying out to hopefully Mexico the end of that week for 2 weeks. So hopefully it's warm weather and can get away from our great weather in England.
Yeah, delightful weather here. Oh, I'm very jealous, I have to say. I haven't been out the country in about 2 years now. It's driving me up the wall.
Absolutely.
Very lucky.
Yeah, well, I guess the best way to kick things off would be, as we usually do, with a little bit of a fun, quick fire question round. So I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. They will be incredibly random. So just, clear your mind, I guess, or fill it. I'm not sure which one would work better in this instance. Question one. If you could have an unlimited supply of one thing, what would it be?
Money.
That's a good. Do you remember that?
Quick and easy. Supplies everything else. One food, it buys your food, houses, sorts it all out.
That's awesome. I can't believe it's such an easy answer to that question. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, what is your sort of go-to pizza topping then?
Barbecue chicken.
Excellent choice. Do you usually keep all the peppers and onions on it as well, or do you get that?
Yeah, I'm not that fussed, but actually, what I do like a garlic bread pizza. Oh, so we're a bit of Donna meat on there.
Heaven.
So between them.
Oh, wow. Not had that before. That sounds really good.
Oh, you haven't lived, Alicia. You haven't lived.
I have not lived. I really haven't. It's okay.
It's half and half. You either love it or everyone looks at you in disgust. They're like, what are you eating?
What have you done to this beautiful
dip your pizza crust in something as well? I don't know, mayonnaise or chili 100%.
Sauce or mayonnaise all the way.
Yeah, I'm all about the chili oil, the white chili oil everywhere, and then let my mouth go on fire. It's amazing. I love it.
Okay, if you could learn any language in a week, which would it be?
I think Chinese, Just some type of Asian language, Korean, Japanese. Probably Japanese. I love Japan. Tokyo is amazing. It's an amazing, and just a country in general. It's like Nara Park. I was lucky enough to go on holiday when the 2016 Olympics happened with my nana and my uncle, because my other uncle teaches English in Korea in universities. Oh, wow. So we spent a week making our way down, started in Tokyo, made our way down Japan, got a ferry over to the bottom of Korea, and made our way up South Korea.
Wow.
So 2 weeks of that. It's a different type of holiday. It's so cultural, how polite people are, how techie, how Japan is. It's amazing.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, the next time you go, just make sure you pick me up an extra ticket. That'd be great.
Yeah, me too. I'll come with.
Do you have any nicknames?
Not really. People call me, actually. Bully's one of them. So one of our coaches is just Nelson. He has nicknames for everyone. And basically, just because I'll stand up for anything, I'll make fun of, mess about with people, and then it doesn't matter if you're big, small. I'm not afraid. So he says how I'm, and then the other one for more of in Taekwondo is Mr. Consistent.
That's great.
Mr. Consistent.
I know. Just because I am.
They work very well with the whole being a silver medalist thing. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, just because my career has been quite like once I started medaling, just everything falls into place.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay, and then last one then. Who's your favorite superhero?
Superhero. I've got to say Iron Man. And not like just Iron Man, but Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man, like so. Obviously, Tobey Maguire getting off the Spider-Man trilogy in the first place, but then Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man set up Marvel. It set up if that flopped, we wouldn't have the films that we have today.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a really, really good point. And he's perfectly cast as well. It's
definitely.
Actually, it's going to be really difficult to separate his face from the role for a very, very long time, I think.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
I know a weird fun fact about that, actually. So the reason they cast Robert Downey Jr. is because he was having a bit of a flop in his career at the time, apparently so. And he was very cheap to hire for the role, so they didn't put too much money in the budget for the first one. Like, it was all filmed in caves and stuff, so it didn't really matter too much. Very cheap budget, and then away it went. It was just a hit. That's brilliant.
And they have to pay him loads now.
Exactly.
Yeah, now they do.
Just get rid of him and keep
From
it.
that person who's constantly breaking it in.
Yeah, excellent. Well, Alicia, I'll pass it over to you then for our first sort of set questions then.
Brill. So segue into like the episode questions now. Here we go. So can you tell us how you came to feature in the TV ads?
So I remember the first it started, I got an email from Arden. They were doing like the Day in the Life series. So they did a Day in the Life, and they didn't know, they just like a student of Arden, they didn't know what I actually did. And they were like, oh yeah, you'll get like an Amazon voucher, blah, blah, blah. So I went, why not? Like, why not? And then sent it in, and I think it was Emma. Don't quote me, because I'm not sure. But then I think they saw it and went, oh, this is different. So contacted me and then asked if they could do a write-up about me going to the Olympics and going to the Olympics through that. And then they got in contact with my agent about being a part of the advert. Because I think I did see an email about it, but not like any one directed at me, just a overall Arden student. Do you want to be in a series? But I didn't really pay much attention to it. And then my agent contacted me, and because it was in Manchester, it didn't interfere with my training. I was like, why not? Awesome.
And I guess sort of while we're talking about like ads and stuff like that, have you always had like a media team, I guess, or is this something that's quite new since like your recent outings at the Olympics?
Agent, yes, but with GB Taekwondo, we do have a media officer anyway, so they're in charge of all GB Taekwondo's media, so our social media pages as a team, but also for people who haven't got media or agents, they can get in contact with her and then put us through to the athletes that way.
That's cool. How did you get into Taekwondo in the first place? And tell us about your Olympic win. That sounds amazing.
So I started Taekwondo when I was 4. I was really hyperactive kid, and I actually got into it because of my sister. My sister's mate started, and my sister got dragged along saying, because the mate was like, if I'm going, you're going. And my mum being a single mum, I had just got took as well, and not because I was young, I was 4 at the time, not to get involved, but just to watch, and that didn't really go very well. Like I said, I'm really hyperactive, used to climb everything, couldn't sit still. And I was already round then I was starting to copy the kicks, like counting in Korean. So the coach basically said, all right, we'll give him a shot. Because at the time, I think you had to be 6'7" before they let you start. But I went, all right, if he can behave, probably not expecting me to behave, probably just expecting my head to go away and get bored. But I really enjoyed it. I stopped when I was 6 because my mum had my twin brothers. So I stopped between 6 and 8 while mum's dealt with them. And then when I was 8, I decided I actually wanted to get back into it. And I think that's around that time, 8, 9, was really when I fell in love with the sport. And probably early teens, like even like 11 or 12, is where I decided, you know what, I want this to be my life. I want to go to the Olympics. I want to go to the Worlds, not just go to them, I want to win them. So that has been my life goal since then. I've, like I said, I've said it on multiple like different interviews. My 2 goals in life: win Worlds and win the Olympics. So not small goals, but that's
definitely not.
That's what they were, and one of them is still. So joined the team. So I was part of the junior and cadet team since I was young, and I didn't have the greatest cadet or junior career. Like picking up medals, but nothing like clicked. I'd do really good in training back home, then I'd go abroad and just couldn't put it on the mat. And it might be a bit of nerd, might be, I don't know, but when I was a kid, and then one day it just clicked. We had our Commonwealths in Scotland in 2014, and then I won that, and then from there it was just like no turning back. Went to the Dutch Open in my last junior year, won that. Then got selected for the Junior Euros at the end of the year, won that. So I was on a really good path. And then I ended up joining the team in July 2016, the senior team. I moved, packed my bags, 17, moved down to Manchester, and been here for the last 5 years. And in 2016, if you asked me, or even said, "Oh yeah, Brad, you're going to be world champion and get silver at the Olympics," I would have laughed. Because I came in 2016, about to start the new cycle of the Olympics, 0 ranking points. To do that was extremely hard. And like I said, had to be very consistent, had to be putting like good results down. And it just went my way. Got bronze at the World Championships in 2017, and they put me into the main GP series. And in turn won, then 2 years later, won the Worlds in 2019. And that is my best memory of Taekwondo, winning that World Championships. And not even the fight I won. So the fight before in my semi-finals, what we fought the day before, I fought an opponent from Korea, Lee Dae-hoon, who to me is retired after the Olympics, but the best Taekwondo fighter that there's been. He just, the essence of Taekwondo, just how everything flowed, how he did everything was like, just, you could see when someone's good, it's when it looks easy. And he just made everything look easy. And he went after the Olympics in 2016, he went undefeated for 2.5 years. And then I was the first person to beat him in the competition before the Worlds. So going into the Worlds,
that must have been quite an incredible feeling.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. But then I lost my final, so it went downhill, and that was a very big learning curve. That from being on the highest of highs to the lowest of lows within 24 hours, like it wasn't nice. But when it got to the World Championships, I beat Lee Dae-hoon last kick, last second, put me into the final, and like I said, everything's a lesson. You don't just lose, you learn. And that's what I did from when I lost that final, and I won it and become world champion.
Woo!
And then coming up to the Olympics wasn't a straightforward Olympics in the least, but I was glad to get out there. Felt ready, felt right, and actually I did get injured a few days before. I got a tear on my LCL on my knee, but it wasn't. But a few days before, the next morning, I couldn't walk properly. I was like, oh, this is great. But then it eased off quite well. I felt like on fight day, but it's not something that really prevented me from doing much. So I was lucky in that way. But yeah, I had a really good day until the final. But had a really good day. Was in my semi-finals. Could have lost that. I was losing by going into the third round, and most of the time, unless you know my team who know I can pull things back against that opponent, I'm probably out of it. But I had that resilience. I don't want to be fighting for a bronze medal. Like I want to be in this final, and pulled it back, won it, and then final, up and down in the fight. I made a few mistakes, but consistently, it looked like it should have been going my way. And then there were a few times where with our system, so we have body armors and head guards on, and we have magnets in a foot guard. So if you kick the body arm or you kick the head with enough power, it scores. In theory. It's not always like that. There are a few times that I hit a head what didn't actually score. But even then, like I said, for me, there's no point unless you fought perfect. Even if they scored, I would have won. Fair enough, but I should have won either way. I made the mistakes what cost me. So that's what I think. You can make excuses if you fought perfect and it didn't go your way for a certain reason. But I didn't fight perfect. There are things I can correct myself, and that's a learning part what you have to take away. And it's a harsh learning point, but it's the things what make you better. And that's what I've come away. And I know now for this next cycle what I need to implement to stay at this top level and not make mistakes when it comes to Paris.
Yeah. So, I mean, the next time we, do this podcast, will be in 2024, and you'll be like, yeah, gold medal, knew what I had to do. Mr. Consistent, that's what they call me. Take it from there. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I guess then, could you tell us a little bit about, how you actually came across Arden University then? Why was it that you decided to sort of make an application and actually start a degree with us?
Yeah, so I've always was thinking about doing accounting. So accounting and finance was going to be what I was going to do. And I was going to start uni if I didn't get into the team. But managed to get into the team. So my focus at the time was Taekwondo. And that's still my main focus because this is my livelihood, this is my dream. But I did always said after this first cycle, I was going to start my degree. So do it on the side. And I looked at a few different part-time universities, but being in 2 days a week just wasn't working properly. Couldn't balance my schedule. So, and then I kept looking and stumbled upon Arden. And then, I just everything fit perfect. Studied in my own time, in my own way, while being able to train, and it doesn't take anything away from my training. So, and especially with Arden, there's like 4 quarters of the year, and you get to pick. You can release modules each quarter, and it's up to me when I decide to release it. So, our Worlds were supposed to be in April, but now they've been moved. So in so I've got an assignment tomorrow at a TCA, so I've got that tomorrow. But after that, I wouldn't have done anything for April. But now I can because Worlds have been moved, so it gives you that flexibility, and that's what I love about it.
So do you have any advice for any of those who might be looking to study online?
Yeah, for me, it's the motivation part is the key. If you know you can do that and you can commit to something while not having to go in, because at school you always get pushed in, and it's up to you even at school if you want to buy into it or not. University's completely different. You pay them the money, you could just fail and they don't care. But so that's down to me. For me, I know I want to have a degree because Taekwondo isn't always a long-lived sport. I could get injured, I could fall off from my performance. So I need something for my future career. And that's for other people. And I also spoke to other people from Arden where they're older than me. They've already had a job and they're thinking about changing. But I think for most people, you can't go to normal uni and do a 3-year course, sack off the job, and then you're not getting paid. Quite a lot of my families have this. So while you can work and do it at night time, you can study. It gives you that balance, so you're not trapped anymore. You're not like just secluded to one thing. So that's why it worked for me. I can do my Taekwondo, I can study on the side, get my degree, and when I need to use my degree after my career, I've got it. You want to change career when you've work in a place where you might not like, or you're thinking about changing, you can work, still get paid, and study on the side, so you can build that up side by side. And I think that's the main point, what people enjoy about Arden.
Absolutely. And, bearing that in mind, I mean, what sort of, additional career paths are you sort of looking at? What is it that you're hoping to do with your accounting and finance degree?
That's one thing I've been looking at recently. When I do my assignment tomorrow, that'll be my year 1 done. So I've still got quite a while. And hopefully I'll still be doing Taekwondo until at least LA, but you can't say anything. I might win Paris, I might not. And after that, that's when you decide what you want to do after that. Do you want to carry on? Do you not? But for me, the last few days we have a connection with GB Taekwondo with Deloitte, the accounting firm, and I've been speaking to different of the different sectors, what they have. And one thing what people think about accounting, and even when I say it to my mates, they think, that's going to be a bit of a career change from just sitting down and just typing away. But speaking to the different sectors, there's so much involved. And when they say it, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But it wouldn't be something you first click to.
Yeah.
Like I was speaking to Arden and consulting, and they were like, we're never really in the office. We're constantly meeting clients. We're constantly traveling. And then I spoke to Tax, and he was the opposite. He went, no, I'm in the office quite a bit, but I like that. He said, for me, with my family, I live just outside of my office, so it's like a 3-minute walk.
Oh, wow.
I come back, go in, do my work, come back, and I'm with my family rather than traveling back and forth. So that's why I like to speak to them, because for me, I've got my degree, one thing they said is they take people in from multiple different places. The most 3 out of the 5 people I spoke to didn't come in with an accounting and finance degree. History, law, economics, multiple different things, because they train you on the job there.
Yeah.
So this is just getting that degree, getting further in my education. So I have that degree. It doesn't matter what I decide to. I probably will go accounting and finance, but I think putting them in little extra meetings now, here and there, having my talks, just gives me that a bit extra influence when I'll come to decide what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess the other thing then is, how do you stay so motivated to get this all done? Is it sort of like looking at the end goal and sort of working towards it, or is this something you've always had? Like, what is it that you do? Yeah,
in Taekwondo, I've always had that motivation, and it is hard. It is very hard for us in the team, especially COVID, like a roller coaster. Yeah, you are going to go to this comp. You are going to go to that comp. Oh no, it doesn't happen. The Olympics might happen. Oh no, it's postponed. So nothing was certain, and it was hard. For us, it was like, for quite a bit, it was like, why are we training? Is there a reason why putting ourselves through hell? And it can be like that. But we have the team around us to push each other and motivate each other. Like, a lot of it comes from the peers around you, especially in a sport like this. I always joke, Taekwondo is my love of my life, but if you're not enjoying it, I said it's different to an office job. You can not like it, go home, rant about it. Here, you're not liking it, and then you get kicked in the face.
Yeah, more aggressive in an office job.
That's what I say. Yeah. But coming motivated is if you love something, if you really deep down love something. And then accounting, it's also, I love things what challenge me. And because I'm a perfectionist, it annoys me if I can't do something. So in my first year, there's quite a few soft topics, and they're quite hard. Quite hard to get into, because there's things I already know, but I have to write up any assignments. But to get my degree, I'm going to have to do that. But the actual accounting units really interest me. Things I need to work out to do, things what will challenge me, and that's what I love about it. Yeah.
Are there any social media accounts that you follow or are interested in, or stuff like that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, for me, I'm a really big tech fan. Always have. Love keeping up with new tech. I'm a bit of a geek that way. But mine is anything what interests me. So rather than just scrolling for Instagram, and I like watching quite a lot of different YouTube videos. So Linus Tech Tips, going through all the different new tech, Mark Rober, like the inventions he makes. And there's quite a few other channels. Well, I can't remember the names, but just how people can create things, like computer engineers, just engineers in general. It's amazing what they can make when they actually just dedicate their time to do it. And it's things what have always intrigued me, and that's what I do love. And just learning more knowledge, even though it's not, I'm going to be able to watch that video and go and make this thing. It's just learning, having a bit of more understanding about what the thought process they have. You might go away and not take anything from it in the sense of being able to put it out there. But then it's just things what can give you a better horizon of your knowledge.
Absolutely.
And as you said, people like Linus and Mark Rober, they are just incredible to see them sort of like start with a sort of like a napkin, where they've just written something down and then turn it into any sort of thing, whether that's like a strange PC or like some crazy contraption. It is very, very impressive.
Yeah, I watched a video recently it was asked 21 questions or 20 questions with Mr. Beast.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And that was really good because Mr. Beast, you just think, oh yeah, fun videos. Mm-hmm. But it's a thought process he thinks about to get these videos, get these viral contents. He doesn't just be like, oh yeah, one day think about it. It really like takes time to think what videos could be the next big thing, how to do things. Like if you watched his recent Squid Games video, like the amount of work that went into that, and I watched through that video, there was the effects team, what he outsourced to create all the effects for it and create all the CGI for it, and it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really impressive how much sort of energy and like talent goes into putting these sort of like massive sort of YouTube productions together. I think people just sort of excuse YouTube in that way for not having that sort of level of quality. But yeah, that Squid Games video is absolutely insane. It's incredible. It's incredible. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's all we have for you today, really. And I have to say, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a great way to sort of kick off the year. You've been a fantastic guest.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sorry for dying.
And I guess good luck with the studies and all the competing that's coming up.
Thank you.
We'll 100% be cheering you on from Arden. Just.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll see if we can get all the monitors on the campus like switched over to like.
That'd be amazing.
I think I'm supposed to be opening the Birmingham Study Centre soon.
Oh, nice! Do you get a giant big pair of scissors?
Not a clue.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's just part of the deal we've made with like doing the podcast, do the advert, doing the opening the study centre. So it was supposed to be when I was going. Before I knew I was going to Korea that week. Mm-hmm. So we said we'll move it to the first week of February.
Nice.
I'm not sure if anything's been confirmed yet, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, everything's a little bit up in the air, so we'll see. But it'd be great. Maybe I'll find a way to be in Birmingham on that day as well. It'd be great to meet you in person.
It'd be really cool.
That wraps things up for today. So, thank you to Bradley and Alicia for being on the show this week. And of course, thank you to everyone who's listening today. Don't forget to sort of check us out on our social medias. If you type Arden University into Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, you'll absolutely find us there. Feel free to reach out, leave some comments, and if you have any feedbacks or even any topics that you'd like us to discuss in the future, please feel free to get in touch, and we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else to add, except thank you also, Alexis, for being on the show and hosting. It's been delightful as always. And thank you again, Bradley. It's been an absolute pleasure.